This is my little KTM EXC-F 250. It's a 2014 model. It's 4-stroke, as you can see. It's got the single pipe and not the big horn. So with this bike, if you're ever looking to get a sort of used bike, do a lot of research into it, because that's something I didn't do. Yeah, I bought this. I bought it off eBay, off a guy who was a dealer down in Port Talbot. A nice guy actually, can't fault that. He had quite a lot of bikes as well, and but he's really good at cleaning bikes up, but not actually checking over for maintenance or anything else, because this bike looked really good. It looked a lot better than what it is now, because I think he just sprayed lots of silicone everywhere and just cleaned it all up, which, you know, kind of is how you sell bikes, I'd imagine. But on further inspection, when I got it back, I kind of liked, when I was a young lad, I used to like pulling bikes apart and everything. So first thing I did with this was sort of get into the grips of it. Took the seat off, and then just started taking away the plastics, took the tank off, checked everything, checked the wires, and they all looked pretty good. Except I was checking the brake calipers and the brake pads, and the rear brake pads had gone. There was nothing left in them, so I sort of thought, well, might as well just buy a load of things and start sticking it on and just make it the way I want it to be. And yeah, I started off with the pads on the back, and they're easy enough to change. The little clip out, pull the pins out, the pads come out easy, absolutely easy. Push the piston back in, new pads in, clip pipe in, side pipe, the little clip and the pin, and yeah, bled it, then put new brake fluid in, because obviously with the brake pad wearing down that much, you can't imagine that the fluid had been changed either. So I've done that. It didn't take too long. Moved to the front, and you know, the brakes on this are better than my blue Yamaha over there, which is a newer bike. So they're all Brembo pads, because they're Brembo calipers. It's such a nice bike to have as a first bike. So as I mentioned, then it's a 250. It's got the original graphics on it, and it's been fun. It's been so much fun. Learning different things. I wanted to change this, but I didn't end up doing it. I bought a new little orange cap there, because the original one was battered, where people had been changing the oil fluid or topping it up or whatever they were doing, but they hammered it. It was almost rounded, so I bought that new orange anodized one. It's quite nice. I got some orange dust caps as well from Pro Bolt. It looks a little bit nicer, but, you know, but it's better than that black crappy plastic ones which fall off, and then you get mud in your valve, which then it becomes a bit of a problem. So yeah, they work. They've stayed on, and yeah, I'm quite happy with them. I think they're about a tenner or something. So yeah, check out Pro Bolt for those. They were wicked. You can probably see it through the spokes there. It's got an orange sprocket on it. It's a stealth sprocket. I bought that from a KTM shop, and I bought new front sprocket and chain with that as well. Also fitted that, and that was all good. The inner tubes and tyres then. So I had a puncture on the rear tyre, and took it off, and yeah, that opened up another world of problems. There's like a rubber liner on the inside that sort of guards your spokes, guards your inner tube from your spokes from it sort of catching and pinching. So yeah, over the time, or at some point, somebody had decided they didn't want that, so they took it out and threw it away and put tape around it, which was awful, because even that was all coming apart. So I bought some new rubber liner for the inside of the spokes, bought a brand new Michelin inner tube for the back, and I also changed the tyres as well, because on an enduro bike that needs to be road legal, you need a road legal enduro tyre, and I think the three-letter acronym is NHS, which obviously is not National Health Service, is not highway suitable. So you need to have a look if you're digging in for tyres. Have a look, you know, if you want an MOT pass and everything else, which I did. I want to be road legal. It's where I can ride from the road onto the trails and everything else, which is fun. So yeah, got new tyres for the front and back. Changed the front then as well, and noticed the similar thing with the front. I needed that the rubber inner for the for this to cover the spokes, stop them from digging into the front inner tube. So yeah, changed all that. That was all good to go. It's passed the MOTs every time I've taken it in, so it's all good there. Then I dropped the oils and filter. So the oil, took all that out, put new oil in with a new filter as well, new filters from KTM, and that's quite an easy job, to be honest with you. You can find more stuff on YouTube these days, and it's happy days. Like everything else is pretty standard. The good thing with these bikes is that they are 4-stroke, so they're quite reliable in terms of you don't have to change the head every so many hours, 8 hours or whatever it is. I need to look into that and buy in a new one. So, and it's going to be a TPI 300, so that's going to be 2-stroke fuel injected, and I think it's 8 hours. You have to change the piston and rings, or piston rings maybe, but I'll look into that another day. But it's an electric start. And you got high and low lights, you can knock them off. I always ride with my lights on, so that gives you a fighting chance because people don't see you anyway. And it's got a kickstart also. It's if your electronic button breaks, if you catch a cable and it rips it out or something, you always got your little backup there, so that's pretty good. One of the other things I found when I bought this was the speedo wasn't running for some reason. So when you start to push this bike out of the way, your light will come on and it'll give you your reading then. So basically on the front brake disc there's a small little circular item that's pinned in. That hits a sort of sensor which is attached to your caliper and runs up with your, you can see there, with your brake cable, and that tells you your speed, captures how many miles you got. So that was broken for some reason, and they'd not bothered changing it, so I bought a new unit for that. Bought a new magnet as well, just in case. Fitted that, all good. So I got speed and correct mileage, and it was all good to go. The other thing with this was the lights. They weren't working when I bought it. They came on, but you couldn't adjust from off main beam to full beam either, because it got gunked up in there, so it wasn't selecting it. So yeah, it wasn't selecting which mode you wanted, off, on, or full beam. So I like to have it on, so it was just flickering sometimes. So I took the top off, got some WD-40, trusty WD-40, sprayed it in there, and just worked it. Just worked it on and off, on and off, on and off. Sprayed a bit more in there, on off, and then you can see it actually clicks now, and yeah, it works. So let's see. And that's good. That was one of the other problems I fixed with it. Then the next thing was clutch servo. I watched a guy called Adam Reeman on YouTube, Australian guy, fantastic rider. I was watching his videos, which was sort of giving me the thirst to buy one of these, so and I started saving and bought it. But there's an orange clutch servo there, I'll put a picture of it up. And that basically protects your servo, your master clutch cylinder, servo cylinder I think it's called. And basically if your chain was to come off, split, hit that, and there's no cover there, no guard there, that's your clutch gone, because your clutch is all hydraulic, so you'd probably drop all the hydraulic fluid. You'd have no pressure, so you'd end up trying to kick through the gears without your clutch. Which, I know you can do with some of these bikes, but it's not ideal, especially when you're trying to pull off as well. So yeah, changed that. I can't remember how much it was. It wasn't very expensive, but I think for the hassle it saves you with having to buy a new servo and everything. I bought one for a KTM 65 SX not so long back, and that was pretty expensive to do it all, so because you have to buy the new fluid and everything else and then bleed it, so you need a bleed kit. So that was good, all sorted there. And it looks pretty good as well. It's a nice blingy shiny bit. The next bit then was the plastic guard. It's underneath there, you can see it. There's a metal guard there. There's a KTM metal slam panel for when you're doing your bits and bobs, going over trees or hitting rocks or wherever. just stops something going up and smashing underneath, you know. So your oil is there, and yeah, it's just that extra little protection, and it looks a little bit better as well than the black plastic one. And yeah, it's just these little bits that sort of, you know, you're comfortable with. You hear horror stories all the time of people who haven't gone, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, then they don't do it, and then something happens. So I was putting the little bits on there, you know, whereas some of them are like blingy bits. These things actually protect stuff, so that's the good thing with the KTM Power Parts catalogue, is it's actually aimed to help you. But in terms of the bike itself, with the levers and all that, the way Yamaha, I've changed the brake lever and the clutch lever to AS3 unbreakable levers. With the KTM, I've not had to do anything like that, because every time I've hit the deck or something, the levers have been out of the way and they've not hit in, so that's been pretty good. These guards are ideal as well. A lot of people put it by the bark busters, but these have worked a treat. They've saved every knock, you know what I mean? They're fully battered and everything, but as is everything else. And the other nice little save, I bought these little donuts, a couple of quid, and it's just something soft between you and the hard plastic of the grip, the throttle grip rather, and yeah, it's just a bit more forgiving, so there's no blisters, and it's nice. I'm quite pleased with it. It's served me well, and time to get the new one. Time to go for a 300 TPI, taste the 2-stroke on a right setup 2-stroke as well, so you know it's going to be good, and the fact that it is KTM as well. If you're on the lookout for a nice little bike, I can't really recommend the EXC-F 250 enough, you know, especially if you're a new rider. It's been really good to me. Just make sure you check everything, check your brakes, check, you know, your speedo works. That's all you have to do is wheel it, and then the magnet triggers it and it'll come up on there anyway. And your lights as well, check your light switches, your horn, your kill switch, kickstart. Just have a good look over it, you know. The big one as well, obviously check the smoke as well. You don't blue smoke, you don't want white smoke coming out of them. Just make sure you try and start them up, leave them run over, have a listen, check the oil, check the brakes, check the lights. Can't really say anything more than that, to be honest with you. So yeah, hope this has been a little bit helpful for you. You know, the aim of this is to sort of give somebody who's not had any experience a little bit of an understanding of what these bikes are, what they go through.